Let's look at techniques to help students to learn about adding fractions with common denominators. Now this is the second in a two-part little mini-series where we're using visual tools from Conceptuamath and we're using the addition with common denominators tool. Now what we're going to do is look at how this has been set up for a 5 to 15 minute group discussion. What I've done is I've set up an addition problem using fraction circles. And I've done something very specific. I've chosen to unlink the visual model from the numeric representation below. So I've got the models all set to go, but no numbers are in place. The students are going to add those numbers. I've also got the Use Number pad selected. This is something that's designed specifically for interactive whiteboards. You don't have to use a whiteboard when you use this tool, but if you do have a whiteboard, you can use the number pad, and you'll see how that works in just a second. So here's how I'm going to do this with the students. I'm going to begin by having the students work in pairs, in groups, to discuss what problem is being presented. And I'll couch it like this. Well, yesterday, or some days ago, we worked with 2/8 plus 3/8. And that's a phrase that we articulated, 2/8 plus 3/8. Today we're going to have a different phrase. I've divided these fractions into 6 equal parts, so tell me what the phrase is going to be today. And they're going to work in their groups, work in their pairs, and hopefully come up with 1/6 plus 2/6. They may come out with different phrases, and if so, I'm going to help them to understand. I'm going to understand their thinking, help them to understand one another's thinking, and eventually we're all going to come to the understanding that this is in fact 1/6 plus 2/6. It's at that point that I ask a student to come up in front of the class, use the whiteboard or use the computer, and actually write down this phrase. So by clicking here, this is how the number pad works. The student can actually enter 1/6, they can enter 2/6, and we can see that they're drawing this relationship between the numbers and the models. Now it's time to articulate the answer. Now notice that in our technology, you can't just take these parts and throw them over to this answer field and have them aggregate and show the answer. We wouldn't want that, because if the students did that, they wouldn't necessarily be thinking. They might be gaming the computer model without actually learning from the computer model. So what we want them to do is to construct that knowledge. So as they put together, they join the 1/6 and 2/6, they can see that this is in fact adding up to 3/6. So they can go ahead then, I can have a student come up and actually create the answer. They can make their 3/6 and write the answer in place as well, and they're all set. I can also have them do so and represent this as 1/2. That'll work as well. And we even have a specific selection here, require common denominators, that can be deselected. So if the student does choose 1/2, they will in fact be marked correctly by the computer. So I can enter this as 1/2, and then I change the model and I make a 1/2 model. And this is a perfectly fine way to represent 1/6 plus 2/6. Either representations are accurate, 3/6 or 1/2. And that's a way that I could lead a 5 to 15 minute lesson in adding fractions with common denominators.